Personal finance. So today, that's what I'm going to talk about. The channel is Mortgages and Money Matters. So today is going to be the second half about money matters, and I'm going to talk about five tips outside of budgeting that will really help with your personal finance. Now, who am I, you may ask? My name is Manda, and I'm a finance coach and a mortgage advisor, which is why I call myself the mortgage coach. I bought myself at 22 and then became a landlord at 27, and I've been dealing with property ever since. I was an accountant for 20 years, and since 2019 I have been a mortgage advisor and then a financial coach. So that's what I do. I've helped tons of people, and I'd like to help you. So let's get started. The first thing is automating your savings. Now, what I mean by that is this is what I did. So, as soon as I left university, I was actually able to save up for my deposit in a very short space of time. But what I did was, because I'd graduated from uni, I'd started my first proper job. I'd had part-time jobs in the past that didn't really pay a lot, but this was my first proper job. So what I would suggest to you is, when you get your first proper job, from the very first pay, split it. So on the day that the money comes out, automate. So what I mean by that is, on the day that you get paid, have a direct debit set up straight to an account where you can put your savings in. And then that way, from day one of every single month, you haven't got access to that amount of money. So you just get used to using the rest of the money. What I do is I split it. So I have a third that covers my essentials, a third that goes to savings, and a third that goes to investing or an investing fund. Now, when you're talking about investing, that's tip number 2: diversify. Now, as you know, this channel is called Mortgages and Money Matters, so I do talk a lot about property, and I do have my own property that I get rental income from. But there are other ways of diversifying as well. You can get stocks, you can get shares, you can get bonds. There are loads of different things, and you can look this all up. I don't tend to talk about it on this channel, and I could get someone to come on and talk about it if you want. By all means, go into the comments and say that's what you would like. If you've enjoyed the tips so far, please like the video, please subscribe so you can support the channel and I can carry on giving out this free content. The next thing is, really have a look at your debt. Now, a lot of people, and I'm quite surprised by this, is they're saving away but not paying off their debt. Now, that's what my third part is. So the first is the essentials, the second is savings and investments and diversifying, and then the third is the debt. Now, it's great if you can put your money onto an interest-free credit card, and then if the credit card is, for example, interest-free for 12 months, divide up how much you need to pay off by 12 months and set up another direct debit and getting that paid off. If you've got a small balance on your credit card, great, just try and pay that off in full every single month, because it really does help when you're applying for a mortgage. When you've got a decent credit, you're showing that you're managing credit. So that's tip number 3: pay off high interest debt first and then carry on. If you want a video on what order to pay off your debt and how to do that, again, put it in the comments that that's what you'd like, and I'll by all means do a video for you. Right, the next thing is the emergency fund. Now, it is very, very important to know that you have money aside in case something comes up. So it's all very well having money in property and stocks and shares, but it is very good to have some just savings, just in case something comes up, like if the boiler goes or there's a problem with your car, or you never know what's going to come up, and you may need that money. So again, on the first day that you get paid, siphon it off. So have a direct debit for savings. There are some bank accounts, and again, I can do a video on this, but there are some bank accounts that allow you to have different pots for different purposes. You could do that, but what I'd always recommend is, the day you receive the money, get all the direct debits set up to go that day, and then you know for sure that you are covered, rather than leaving it to the end of the month and you spending money that you don't actually need to spend or want to spend, but the money's there so you spend it anyway. Then you get to the end of the month, you haven't really got that much to contribute to savings or an emergency fund. Think about those things, they're really, really important. The other thing to think about is your pension. So emergency fund is great, but your pension is also a future fund for you to make sure that you've got. Now, the last thing I would say, and this is the accountant in me, I suppose, is review and understand your financial statements. Now, what I mean by that is you've got your credit card statements, you've got your bank statements, and you've got your, if you have got investments, it's the investment account statements. Now, I would look at those on a regular basis, just so you're aware that you know what you're spending and you've got a better idea of it. Whenever I do a fact find with a client who's going to have a mortgage, I always say to them, oh, how much you spend on this, that and the other. And then when I get their statements, it's always double, sometimes triple what they've said. And it's not because they were lying. Well, I suppose they're lying to themselves, they just don't realize what they spend. So by looking at your statement on a regular basis, you can see that. Also with your credit cards, you know, as I said, if you have got a balance and you can get it onto an interest-free credit card, divide it by the months of that and pay it off. But make sure that if you spend anything on it, you also pay that off on top of the 12th or 18th or whatever you're doing. So keep an eye on your credit card statements, keep an eye on your bank statements. And as I said, make sure you also understand your investment accounts. And if you don't understand this kind of thing, then, you know, I am a financial coach. There are other financial coaches out there, they'll be able to walk you through it. Some mortgage advisors will also do that if you're going to have a mortgage, but sometimes, you know, you're not remortgaging or buying a property for, you know, several months, so it's good to get someone to help you review all of this beforehand. So I hope this has been really, really useful. It was just meant to be a short, sharp video, but today, as I've talked about automating your savings, diversifying your investment, paying off your debt and what order to do it in, building an emergency fund, and don't forget your pension, and also reviewing and understanding your financial statements as a package. So I hope you found this video useful. If there's any topics that you want me to do on the channel that are outside of mortgages or even within mortgages, please let me know in the comments. I'm always thinking of different video ideas, but any video that would be useful for you would probably be useful for somebody else. So as I said, this is all free content. Please support me by subscribing. Take care and have a good evening.